Hey there, my name is Elena Persson and I work for SAS. Today I'm going to show you some things that you have never thought of before and never seen before. SAS is the biggest airline company in Scandinavia and the 9th biggest in Europe. SAS has been operating in the European airline industry for 70 years. 50% of shares in SAS is owned by the Danish, Swedish and Norwegian government. The other 50% is private shareholders. The three main objectives of SAS are shareholders' wealth to maximize profit, customer wealth to create value, sustainability. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about the financial situation within SAS. In order to say something about the financial situation of SAS, I will now elaborate on the different ratios. The profitability ratio describes ROIs, ROI, ROS, and sales growth. Regarding the capital employed within SAS, the return is lower than the trend in the industry. This is also the case for the return on investments, which indicates that SAS has high cost, and only in 2013 SAS was able to obtain earnings at 6.15% on every single Swedish crown of sales. Now I want to show you our very newest airplane. And while I walk through the airplane, you can take a look and I will keep telling you about the ratios. Regarding the activity ratios, which are net asset turnover, trade receivables and trade payables. SAS's net asset turnover ratio is relatively high compared to the industry trend, meaning that they are good at generating revenue from the assets it possesses. The trade receivables settlement period is shorter than the settlement period for trade payables. All other things being equal, SAS is then able to avoid a possible liquidity problem. Now I will tell you about the liquidity ratios, and they consist of the current ratio and the no credit period ratio. SAS did not perform well when it comes to managing working capital. The company cannot pay their short-term obligations since the current ratio of SAS is at 80%. Additionally, SAS could continue operating for 69 days without any further cash injection. This is a bit low compared to the average of the industry. It indicates, once again, that SAS have a high average daily running cost. Another kind of ratios are the capital gearing ratios, and in this case they consist of the gearing ratio and the interest coverage ratio. SAS's gearing ratio has stayed stable throughout the period. It is within the limits of the industry, and is considered low between the viewed companies. With the gearing ratio at 60%, the financial risk within SAS is relatively high. If they at some point cannot pay interest, the risk of going bankrupt will increase unless shareholders reinvest in the airline company. When considering the interest coverage ratio, SAS is underperforming compared to its competitors. Negative profits and low operating profit margin results in an inability to cover financial expenses. We also have the shareholders ratios, and they consist of earnings per share ratio and price per earnings ratio. The earnings per share shows that the net profit of SAS is negative, which makes the airline unattractive to investors because dividends probably will not be paid in the future. Furthermore, the price per earnings ratio decreased to a new minimum in 2014, which indicates that investors do not believe in the future of SAS.
The competition in the European airline industry is more intense than ever. The global financial crisis, strong competition, increased legislation, fluctuating fuel prices, and structural changes within the industry has meant that several airline companies have gone bankrupt, while others have been bought or merged. In order to consider the objectives of SAS, maximize shareholders' wealth, satisfy customers, and implement sustainability, SAS is forced to act due to the fierce competition in the industry. SAS is facing several competitive disadvantages, such as its high cost structure and legal issues. To lower costs, SAS should replace one of its older planes with a modern and fuel-efficient airplane. With the current competition and SAS strategic situation, the findings of this project signify that SAS immediately needs to restructure and focus on costs. In order to minimize costs, SAS, amongst other things, needs to invest in new modern and fuel-efficient airplanes, which will increase capacity and cost efficiency.
It was a pleasure showing you around. Please contact us if you have further questions. Hopefully SAS is headed in the right direction. We are ready to take off. I hope we shall meet again soon. Bye.